Hello and welcome. This is Pre-Uni New College. This video is intended to provide information about thinking skills and how to solve these questions through strategical steps. These logical explanations and solutions will be beneficial. However, please be advised it does not give all the answers and is not a shortcut to solve thinking skills questions. Most importantly, consistent study and reading are essential for successful results. Let's begin the video. Welcome everyone to part 2 of 4 of Critical Thinking Strategy for Thinking Skills. In this video, we will be covering identifying assumptions. As mentioned in our previous video, there are 6 types of critical thinking questions. They are assessing the impact of additional evidence, detect reasoning errors, drawing a conclusion, identifying assumptions, matching arguments, and etc. We'll be covering identifying assumptions in this video. What are identifying assumption questions? Identifying assumption questions are questions that require students to identify a statement in which the conclusion depends on. In other words, it is a statement in the text which is necessary or the conclusion would not make sense. If an assumption was found to be false, the argument would fall apart and the conclusion would not follow logically from its premises. Let's break down each word of the question category. Identifying means to recognize, pick, or point out. And an assumption is a statement that is accepted as true or as certain without proof. Therefore, after breaking down each word, we come to understand that identifying assumption questions are looking for a statement or statements which is needed in order for the argument and conclusion to be valid. Identifying assumption questions present a number of conclusions which are typically assumptions based off the given argument. These are similar to drawing conclusions. However, the answer options require critical thinking of unstated assumptions. For example, a given argument would be, I can only go to ASAT if I have a pre-uni new college student ID, or if I pay a test fee. An incorrect conclusion answer option would be, I did not go to the ASAT yesterday as I did not pay a test fee. Here, this uses the assumption that this person did not go to the ASAT test because the test fee was not paid, where rather it could have been that the person did not have a pre-uni new college student ID. Therefore, this conclusion is incorrect due to the incorrect use of an assumption. Let's look at how we would apply the tips to identifying assumptions type questions. The first step is to read the question and identify the question line, typically saying, if this is true, which one of these sentences must also be true? The second step is to read the argument and identify the premises. The third step is to paraphrase the argument using your own words, if necessary. The fourth step is to predict the answer by looking for the answer option that correctly uses assumptions based off the argument to form a conclusion. The last step is to eliminate wrong answers, which can be done by eliminating all options that are logically inconsistent with the premises, typically assuming incorrectly. Let's look at an example question from the Selective Schools Thinking Skills test. Whoever stole the money must have had both an opportunity and a motive. If this is true, which one of these sentences must also be true? A. If Finn had both an opportunity and a motive, he must have stolen the money. B. If Finn did not steal the money, he cannot have had an opportunity. C. If Finn did not steal the money, he cannot have had a motive. And D. If Finn did not have a motive, he cannot have stolen the money. This question falls in the identifying assumptions question category, as this question clearly states which of these sentences must be true based off the information. We must identify the underlying assumption that results in the possible conclusion and look for a statement or statements which is needed in order for the argument and conclusion to be valid. Then let's apply the general approach method to solve this question. The first step is to read the question and determine what it is asking. Since it is asking us, if this is true, which one of these sentences must also be true, we are looking for an answer option that correctly assumes a conclusion based off the given argument. The next step is to read the argument and identify the premises. The premise here is simple. Whoever stole the money must have had both an opportunity and a motive. Next, paraphrase the argument if you need to understand the argument better. However, remember to stick as close as possible to the actual text. In this case, we can simplify the argument to make it easier to understand, whether it be a number sentence or a diagram. Down below here, we have simplified our argument into a diagram, seeing that money was stolen only if there was a motive and an opportunity. The fourth step is to predict the answer. Since we are looking for a conclusion, look for a statement that uses the information in the argument appropriately to assume some form of conclusion. In this case, look for a statement that relates back to both a motive and opportunity, or a lack of as an explanation to steal or not steal the money. The final step is to eliminate wrong answers. Since we are looking for a conclusion, we are only going to eliminate options that is inconsistent with the information in the text. In this case, wrong assumptions to form a basis of a conclusion. These types of questions usually have trap answers in which inverse the given argument as a supposed correct conclusion. This is typically not the case. For example, saying all x is y does not necessarily mean that all y is x also. Make sure to read the argument and conclusion properly to ensure that you do not fall victim to these types of assumptions. Looking back on our number sentence where money was stolen if there was a motive and opportunity, let's look at option A first. If Finn had both an opportunity and a motive, he must have stolen the money. The given argument is that whoever stole the money must have had both an opportunity and a motive. This only works for those who had stole the money and cannot be said inversely. Even if they had an opportunity and motive, it is not a guarantee that they stole the money. They just simply have the opportunity and motive. Therefore, this assumption is incorrect. Option B states that if Finn did not steal the money, he cannot have had an opportunity. This conclusion is incorrect as it is only given that whoever stole the money must have had an opportunity and motive. If Finn did not steal the money, then that means that he must have either had no opportunity, motive, or both. We cannot assume in this case which he did not have. Option C is similar to option B, which states that if Finn did not steal the money, he cannot have had a motive. This conclusion is incorrect as it is only given that whoever stole the money must have had an opportunity and motive. If Finn did not steal the money, then that means that he must have either had no opportunity, motive, or both. We cannot assume in this case which he did not have. Option D states that if Finn did not have a motive, he cannot have stolen the money. Looking back on our number sentence, you must have an opportunity and a motive to steal the money. As Finn did not have a motive, he cannot have stolen the money, making option D a correct assumption and answer. Thank you for watching this video, and hopefully it has helped you understand a bit about thinking skills and the strategies on how to solve these questions. Please note, as stated in the start of the video, studying and reading consistently are essential for successful outcomes.